Let's get some prize picks in today, guys. Last night's YouTube picks went 2-4, so a bit of a slowdown in this amazing run we've been having recently. But it wasn't slow in the Discord because I did manage to cash a 25x for everyone in there right here, as you can see on your screen, as well as a 5 for 5 on underdog. So this is either a 10x or a 20x, depending if you insured it or not. So the YouTube didn't go well, but the Discord has been kicking it as it has been all of February. Look at the past 5 weeks on prize picks. I've not had a negative week. And I could show you the sum on this, and this is plus 160.8 units. Look at this. If I add these all together in the past 5 weeks, up 160 units, meaning even if you bet $1 on every single slip, you'd be up $160. Of course, the minimum on prize picks is $5. You should be up at least $804 if you tail every single slip for all of February in the Discord, which is kind of insane because this is the minimum unit that you're even allowed to play on prize picks. So great to see that. February was absolutely amazing, and that was after some pretty bad weeks. So you can see minus 20.7 here in week 8, minus 25.6 in week 10, and this is where I switched up the algo, which I'm going to get into a bit. A lot of questions about this OddsJuice website compared to the Discord, what it is, how it works, and what are the differences between the Discord and the actual site. I'm going to get into that in this video and kind of show you 2 different slips based on OddsJuice only picks as well as Discord only picks. So let's get into it. Right now, I have 2 6-mans for you guys. So this bottom slip is exactly a type of slip I will send in the Discord. So you can see I'm always stacking players from the same team. I'm always going to have maybe 2 or 3 players from the same team, maybe the same game, and throw them into a slip together. Now, if you check all these picks, if you guys are on the OddsJuice dashboard, you'll see that none of these picks were actually on the OddsJuice dashboard because they're not straight positive expected value plays. What makes them good picks is when I'm pairing them together in the same game. So we'll take it for an example right here. On the Golden State Warriors Milwaukee Bucks game, I grabbed Draymond Green on the over 19.5 pair, as well as Steph Curry on the over 27.5 points. Now, individually, if you were to take these guys on an individual basis and just take one of them, it is not as good as a pick as taking both of them together. Because if we go and check this Bucks game, despite there being a small total, so 227, it's not a very high total, it's not a high pace game, but the spread is -4 in favor to Golden State at home. So that's very nice to see when we're grabbing 2 overs from the same game, because even though the total is small, there is a very good probability that the main starters are going to be getting most of the minutes, and the main starters being Draymond Green and Steph Curry. So the tighter the game is, the more opportunity for Draymond Green and Curry to both go over the points totals or the PRA totals or the fantasy score totals. Whatever it is, you want these guys to be getting a lot of minutes. On the other hand, I have this other pairing here in the Wizards game with Denny on the over points and Koulibaly on the under 8.5 points. Now, in this case here, Koulibaly used to be coming off the bench. He is starting nowadays. But the idea here is that if Denny is going over his points and Koulibaly is going under his points, maybe it is Denny that's really having a game. It could be like Denny and Kuzma, for example, on the Wizards team, getting most of the points, while the rest of the players around them are getting less points. Maybe they're assisting more. So there is this sort of relationship that if one player is doing very well on the team, it's more likely that the other player is probably going under their points. Think of like LeBron and AD. Maybe if LeBron's having a very good game going over his points, maybe hitting like 40 points, let's say, it's very unlikely that Davis is also going over his points total. That's kind of the idea I'm going with here. It also helps if one guy is a bench player or something. You could think of like Karl Anthony Towns and Naz Reid, or just Edwards and Naz Reid on the Timberwolves. Something like that does work. This is less of a strong relationship nowadays because of Koulibaly starting, but you could check something like the minutes on Fantasy Labs and see how many minutes are they actually playing with each other on and off the court. So you can see Denny has 1,000 minutes with Koulibaly off the court. Now, in general, he had 1,600 minutes over the whole season, meaning that about 63% of the time that Denny's on the court, Koulibaly is not, which means that Denny's not going to be scoring when Koulibaly is, and vice versa. So that is kind of the relationship between those 2 players. Again, like I said, it's a bit different now because Koulibaly is starting and is expected to be starting tonight, but that is kind of the idea. Now, the last one here is very simple. If Banchero is assisting on this Orlando team, it's very likely that he's assisting one of the top scorers, like Wagner here. So over 5 assists, very nice for the push line, which could revert us down to a 5 flex, which still has good enough payouts. And then Wagner could get some points off of Banchero assists. Imagine a situation where Banchero is getting 3 assists, maybe 3 of those are going to Wagner. That's an extra 6 points for him. So that is kind of the relationship between these players. Also, there's a possibility that it could be a tighter game. I mean, it's a -7 spread for the Magic, but the Wizards are at home. So the tighter this game is, the more likely it is for the Magic starters to get more minutes. And if these 2 guys are getting more minutes, they're getting more minutes together, right? So more likely for them to go over their props. This is a slip that has nothing to do with the OddsJuice dashboard. I didn't get any of these picks from the dashboard, but it's still a positive expected value pick. And these are a lot of the slips that I've been hitting in the Discord that you would not be able to recreate using the dashboard, because this is based on my own algorithm. Like, I did just go over a couple of things and why I took these, but this is already all automated. I already have my statistics lined up in my Excel sheet and everything. I just throw them into slips together, but I'm just explaining the reasoning why this even makes sense in the first place. But in general, I know all of these pairings that are going to be effective. It doesn't work like this for every single pairing in the NBA. you really have to know which ones are good together and which ones are not. So again, this is the type of slip you get on the Discord, but would not be able to create with the dashboard. Now, this is a full dashboard pick. So these are just positive set value picks. If you don't know what that means, I have various videos going over what positive EV means. And the dashboard kind of consolidates all these lines and gives you the easiest way to kind of go over every single pick. You can see Clint Capella under 10.5 points. You know, based on Sportsbook's odds and other factors, that there's about a 56% likeness for Clint Capella to go under 10.5 points. So you know this is a great pick to throw into one of your entries. I recommend only playing 5 and 6 flexes when you're using the OddsJuice dashboard, because that is what's going to be mathematically optimal and make you the most money in the long run if you're consistently putting slips together. So the beauty of this is you could do this all in your own time. You don't have to wait for me to be sending slips, and you could refresh this throughout the day and make your own slips together. And you could just copy paste. So Clint Capella, I know he's a good pick. I don't have to think about it. I don't have to research anything. Clint Capella, I grab him on the under 10.5 points just by simply copy pasting these in to Prizepicks. So I could go grab Alex Crusoe, grab him on the over 8.5 points, and it kind of takes like 2 minutes to make a full 6-man, and you can make multiple 6-mans a day using this strategy. Now the beauty of the Discord is I will still use the OddsJuice dashboard to make some slips. So this is a full dashboard slip that I sent to the Discord, and you can see how it works here. If I go to Prizepicks, you could see I sent the DJ Mon Green slip that I just went over. I'm sharing this with you for free on the YouTube video, as well as the Clint Capella slip. So kind of the Discord is the best of both worlds. You get my personal slips with my own algorithm, as well as the OddsJuice dashboard slips. That being said, if you don't want to rely on me to send the picks and copy them straight from me, you could create your own slips using the dashboard. So that is the difference between the two. And these are the two full 6-mans. If you guys do want to join the Discord, it's the first link in the description. And the OddsJuice dashboard does have a 7 free trial also in the description.